I'm speechless. I am absolutely speechless. And I cannot believe that anybody that is sitting on the side of the Commonwealth is still proud to sit on that side of the courtroom after what happened today. Welcome in, my friends. This is Let's Talk Live here on the LTL Media channel. I want to welcome everybody in. Of course, we're going to talk about Karen Read's trial today. We had two very disgraceful officers get up and take the stand today. One that was absolutely, completely disgraceful, the one, Michael Proctor, and we will get into that today. We're going to play through testimony. I'll be honest with you. I did not catch a lot of it, but I did try to keep up as much as I could. I had to work today, and unfortunately, I didn't get out until 6, and then after that, I had dinner, and I didn't get home until late. So this is going to be kind of a genuine reaction that we do today and go through. I'm not going to play all of Proctor. I'm going to get right to the text messages tonight, but I want to start off with Bukkake. I want to watch the cross with Alan Jackson. Then we'll get into the text messages on direct, and then obviously we'll watch the cross with Jackson. But I don't want to go unnoted on this one, because there was one police officer that stood up today and did the right thing. And that's none other than Nick Barros from the Dighton Police Department. And he stood up and talked about Karen Read's taillight and told the truth about it. And I'm going to tell you, this officer knows the truth. He's not going to play the game. He's not going to get caught up in whatever happens after this trial when Karen Read is exonerated and is free of all these frivolous charges. I mean, people, if you're not, the people that are still hanging on here, that Karen Read is guilty, I'm hoping that you're waking up. And I hope that we have turned some of those people to see the truth. I hope that you are seeing what is going on in front of your eyes. And believe me, I still get emails daily of how crazy I am. No, you're crazy. And it was on full display today. And if the testimony today did not change your mind, then you're losing it. You're losing it. You are losing it. But as tradition, I want to let everybody know all donations that come in tonight, 25% of that will get kicked back to Karen Read. That is a theme here on this channel. And I did see one donation come in before the show started today. I do want to get to that really quick, and we'll start the running total. If one of my moderators can just keep the running total, I'll throw them out. And then at the end of the stream, as you all know, what I do is I post up a screenshot on my LTL Media Facebook page, on my YouTube community page, and then you can ultimately vet it, and you can go to the Karen Read Defense Fund link, and you'll see LTL Chat Raiser, and it will say the date 6/10/24 and then the total amount that we give at the end of the stream. So thank you. We're going to start this off with a $5 donation from Tammy. She said, I think to the effect that there was a note in there that said that she could not stay and watch the stream tonight, but I appreciate your $5. So $5 will kick that off tonight. All right, my friends, let's get into this here. The one trooper that actually had balls today to stand up. This is via Microdots. Love you, Microdots. If you're watching, love you so much, and continue to do the work that you do. Because if it wasn't without you, we wouldn't have these wonderful clips. But let's play Nick Barros. Dighton PD stood up and told it like it was.
I saw that there was some damage to the right rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged. It was cracked, and a piece was missing, but not completely damaged.
It was cracked, and then a piece was missing, but not completely damaged.
And if you're not following Microdots, please follow Microdots on Drop Microdots on YouTube and Drop Microdots on X. The guy told the truth. He told the truth. He's not going to get involved. Good stuff. All right, let's get to Bukkake Cross Alan Jackson. Let's do this.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. So when we left off on Thursday, we were discussing the Sallyport video that was introduced by the Commonwealth on Wednesday during direct examination. Do you recall that?
I do.
When he introduced that video, Mr. Lally asked you several very specific questions about the video, including if you recognize the video in general, correct?
Yes, you did.
And you said you did.
I did.
He also asked you whether you recognized any of
I'm
the
going to tell you, you know, Bukkake and Proctor are the type of people that they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about any of the people that they protect and serve. They certainly don't give a shit about Karen Reed. And these are people that are just so high up on themselves that they feel like they are so fucking invincible that nothing's going to cut them down. And that's the energy and the vibe that I get from them. And the disgusting text message today from Trooper Proctor, how this case is not dismissed right now. And I heard how the jury was reacting to these text messages. And I can see their faces because I was there. And I can only imagine what they were like. Before I get into that, before we get into this testimony, I do have a clip that I want to play. I think it was Channel 10 News had an analyst up there. And I think even Aiden today, it was just like the jurors, the way they were reacting was, they were just, excuse me, beside themselves. Let me just play this clip real quick and then we'll get into Bukkake. Let's see. Let's play this. Let's play this.
One woman had her mouth open. One woman had her hand over her mouth and was watching. One woman who doesn't often look at the witnesses leaned in and looked at him like this. One woman looked back and looked at every single female juror she could look at
Yeah.
and make eye contact with.
I believe it.
I'm leaving the men out because I wasn't necessarily paying attention to them, because suddenly the coalition of women on the jury were reacting to this language, to these words. And I at one point, they were just shaking their head. One woman laughed that this was just, I have to guess, an outrageous laugh reaction. One woman had her.
Yeah. And the thing is that, you got to start to think about this. If Trooper Proctor is talking like this to his friends, his family, his colleagues, specifically just in this case, can you imagine his conduct in other cases? This is a guy that should not be a trooper. This is a guy that should not be protecting and serving anymore. This guy should be fired immediately. Why he's still a police officer right now, I have no idea. But this is someone that should be fired just based off that testimony today. And to look in court and stand or sit in front of Karen Reed and not even have the wherewithal. I mean, you're going to start thinking like Lally had the opportunity today to kind of help Trooper Proctor out a little bit, even though we know this is all bullshit. And he didn't even do that. He never even said, would you apologize today? Here is Miss Reed in front of you. Would you apologize to Miss Reed? He wouldn't even do that. This guy doesn't care. And like I was saying, when I first started, this whole kind of rant, he doesn't care about you, doesn't care about me, and he certainly doesn't care about Karen Reed. And, what has his conduct been in other cases? And the scary thing is he's the lead investigator in the Brian Walsh case. That's another big case that happened here in the great state of Massachusetts. And how did he talk about Brian Walsh in that case? How did he talk about other cases that he was involved in? Again, this guy should not be a police officer right now. Shouldn't be a police officer. All right, let's get through Bukkake.
The individuals in the video at a particular time where he paused the video and you used your green laser pointer to point out a couple of individuals that you recognize. Do you recall that?
I do.
And in that pause, you indicated at that time on Wednesday that you recognized Trooper Proctor and what you thought was yourself, the person slipping at the front of the SUV, correct?
I indicated that Trooper Proctor and myself were in the video, and there was an individual slipping in the front of the vehicle.
And then on Thursday, you corrected that to make sure that we were clear about it. The person slipping was actually the tow driver, not you, correct?
That's what it appeared, so yes.
Okay, I'd like to take a quick look at that with the court's permission at 4:46. May I publish
Okay.
that?
Yes.
He is.
This is 4:46. It's the same
Yes.
video that you were shown by Mr. Lally. We're at runtime about 5.
This guy, just gets up and lies in front of the jury today. And Alan Jackson even asked him at one point, you're saying you changed your testimony? No, that's not what I'm saying.
37 and 05 p.m. I'm sorry, I said runtime. I meant time of day. Thank you. As a matter of fact, the time of day would be most easily seen right down here, although it's pretty small from where you're at. If you can't see that,
I know, Jenny.
please let me know.
You're right.
I do not see that, no.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll hold off on that question, and I may ask the court for relief in just a moment. If we can play this for just a quick second, and I'll ask you, Mr. Biggs, if you can pause it. Go ahead and pause there. Okay. Sergeant, this is the basic video, the point at which it was paused when Mr. Lally asked you to identify the individuals in the video, correct?
I believe it was a different time, but I'm not sure.
Do you remember using your green laser pointer, pointing at the person in the back and identifying that person as Trooper Proctor, and then pointing at the person in the front, screen right, mistakenly as you? You remember that?
I remember indicating where the individuals would be, yes.
Okay. And so do you have the green laser pointer with you?
I do.
Could you point at the location where you see Trooper Proctor?
I do not
Now,
know.
he's going to play dumb. He's going to play dumb here because he doesn't want to incriminate Proctor. You already know he's incriminated, but he's going to play dumb here. I don't know. I think from what I remember when I was hearing this morning, I can't accurately point out who Trooper Proctor is.
Specifically right now, if that is Trooper Proctor behind the vehicle.
He knows it is.
But when Mr. Lally asked me to indicate where we would be, it was in this location here.
You're indicating toward the rear of the SUV.
Correct.
On Wednesday, and I just want to draw your attention back to your testimony on Wednesday, you used the laser pointer and pointed at two different individuals.
Yeah.
The person toward the back, and you identified him as Mr. Proctor, as Trooper Proctor, correct?
Yeah, I was gold, right,
On
Scott? I
Wednesday.
saw that.
I indicated that Trooper Proctor and myself would be in the shot in the rear of the vehicle. And then I indicated that I'm wearing a olive drab baseball hat and Trooper Proctor's wearing a winter style knit black hat.
Isn't it true that on Wednesday, what the question you were asked from Mr. Lally is, Ms. Gilman, from Mr. Lally, Ms. Gilman, if you can just pause there for a moment as the sergeant's almost falling in the video, and the court said, keep your voice up, Mr. Lally. Do you recall that?
I do not recall that, no.
Do you remember Mr. Lally saying, Sergeant Buchanan,
Welcome in, Nikki.
with reference to any of the individuals
Welcome
you
in.
see in this video, do you recognize any of those individuals? And you responding, I can recognize Trooper Proctor and myself. And you use the green laser pointer in doing
Right.
so.
Yes, I did.
Welcome in, everybody. Make sure to smash that like button as you come in. And traditionally, any super chats or any donations come in tonight, 25% of it will get back to Karen Reed. We want to try to get to at least $50 for Karen. If we don't get there tonight, we'll carry it over to the next stream and just keep rolling it in.
Good.
And that was on this area.
Smash that like
May not
button.
be to the frame, but this is where the video was paused when you made that identification, correct?
It was approximately at this time.
Okay. So you were then asked after you identified, and at that time you did identify Trooper Proctor, and again, mistakenly, yourself, correct?
I directed the laser to the area where we would be.
Okay. And Trooper Proctor is the one toward the back of the truck.
Again, I cannot tell you which individual. There are multiple individuals there. I do not know at this point in time where it's frozen if that's exactly Trooper Proctor. I know we were present at that location, and I know what he was wearing for a headdress and what I was wearing.
All right, so you have to move along from this point.
Then why did you, one more question, Your Honor. Then why on Wednesday did you indicate very clearly the person toward the back of the SUV was Trooper Proctor? If you
Right.
don't know, why did you say that on Wednesday?
Right.
During the frozen frame, I could tell there were two individuals back there, and I was
This guy's so narcissistic.
at one point in time in that location with Trooper Proctor.
That appeared to be Trooper Proctor in the back of the car.
From
Just
where
say
the
it,
video
bro.
is frozen right now, I cannot tell.
Yeah, just say it.
So you're changing your testimony
Right.
from Wednesday.
Objection.
Are you changing your testimony?
I am not changing my testimony now.
Okay, next question, Mr. Jackson.
You then
changed
asked
the
whether the video
testimony.
was true and accurate as in terms of its depiction of what you saw, what you observed in Sallyport that night, correct?
I indicated the video is true and accurate to the location.
And
What's up, Scott? Good to see you.
you were then asked whether or not, in looking at that video, watching it, either you or Trooper Proctor approached, manipulated, touched that right rear taillight at any time, and your answer was never, correct?
That's correct.
And while you testified, this is the video that was displayed for the jurors, correct? And it was this orientation, the front of the truck facing right, the rear of the truck facing left, correct?
That's correct.
And for all appearances, it would appear that the right rear taillight of the SUV is the one facing the jurors, if you will, facing the viewer, right? From appearances. You didn't know anything different.
Can you rephrase that question, please?
Sure. Just from the appearance of the video as it is now, the appearance of the video.
They're trying so hard to stick to their story. They're trying so hard to stick to the story. And they're all getting caught. It was funny. I think I was watching Vinnie Politan today at work on my break, and he was going off about Proctor and the text messages and, Lally actually allowing Proctor to go. He's like, dude, is he just like throwing the case? And someone in his chat said, is Karen Reed going to testify? And Vinnie Politan actually almost laughed. He said, there's literally, she's not testifying. There's no need for her to testify. Every Commonwealth witness has hung themselves. And it's over. This case is over today. The jury hearing those text messages, absolutely, it's over. Done. I mean, the way that you're hearing about their body language reactions, the expressions on their face, and I was seeing it the other day myself when I was in there. It's over. Karen Reed is going to walk. They're just waiting to deliberate. I'm telling you, they're going to deliberate. We got a total of $10 so far, so we're going to give that. Thank you, Nikki, for becoming a new member. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's go.
It looks like the right rear taillight is the taillight that's facing the jurors, facing the viewer, toward the rear of the truck, correct?
As it is frozen, correct.
And on Wednesday, I want to move through this relatively briefly, Sergeant. On Wednesday, you did not mention that this video was inverted, did you?
It was not brought out, no.
Not brought out by, that's a passive way of saying it. I'm asking you directly. Did you mention that this was an inverted video?
Not on Wednesday, no.
On Thursday, Mr. Lally finished his questioning on Wednesday, then came back on Thursday. You continued on direct examination under questioning by Mr. Lally again to start the day, correct?
That is correct.
And during that,
Dawn, thank you for the 15 on Cash App. We'll add that to the total in the chat. So I think we're at 25. 25% of that 25 will go back to Karen Reed, trying to get to $50 tonight. All right, let's go.
testimony on Thursday morning, you also, under direct examination, did not mention that this video was inverted. Did you?
Did not know.
And then it was my turn to ask you questions. You recall that?
I do.
And then I began asking you questions about the accuracy of this video. And at that time, for the first time, you said it appears that it is a mirror image. It's an inverted video, correct?
I advised you that it is a mirrored image at that point, correct?
Tell the truth, sir. Sarah, thank you for gifting the 5. Thank you.
Would you agree with me now, as you sit here, that this video, as
25.
we're looking at it, is not a true and accurate depiction of what you viewed in that Sally Port that night?
I would not agree with you, no.
They won't
You
do
believe
it, though,
that what the
Andy.
jurors are seeing right here is a true and accurate.
Someone asked the question today, or posed the statement today in the Justice Group. And they said, gee, I hope that this case is going to end today. I'm going to tell you right now, this case is not ending. They're going to push this all the way through. They're going all the way through with it. I just want to get that. I want to get that in everybody's head. And I know it's a very frustrating reality to come to, but they're going to push this all the way. It's not stopping because they think by some miracle they're going to win this. And I think they thought by getting Proctor up on the stand today and basically dismissing all the text messages with the brash way that he did, to look at those jurors and say, well, I said these text messages and I'm embarrassed about it, just like Bukaki said and did things. Well, I'm embarrassed about it, but that doesn't compromise. That doesn't compromise the investigation. You're going to really look at jurors and say that? You've sunk your case. Lally had the opportunity today, just like I said. Lally had the opportunity today to at least get up there and help Proctor and say, would you like to apologize in front of these jurors to Karen Reed for the disgusting things that you said? But no, he went in there and read the text messages and like a dumb fuck tried to get out in front of it, and it backfired in his face because Lally is a very weak prosecutor. And this case is weak. It's a joke. It's almost laughable that we're sitting here talking about this. Karen Reed should have never been arrested. Karen Reed should have never been brought to trial. And Karen Reed's team, wait for us. They haven't even gone yet, and look what's happening. It just, day after day after day, this collapses. It's going to be literally, I think, probably one of the most laughable cases tried by a prosecution. I mean, this is going to be talked about forever. And how laughable. I mean, focus groups and college courses and other attorneys and analysts are going to pick this case apart and how horrible this is. And I wouldn't be surprised that Adam Lally is fired after this. That poor bastard is going to be the fall guy in the end of this. I mean, you already see it right now. He doesn't want to be there. He's given up. He's going to be the fall guy for all of this. But deservedly so. If you want to take on a sham trial like this and try to go through all this charade for the last almost 2.5 years, well, it's on you, bro. By the way, Maz Meany in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Maz will be joining me on Thursday night with Jess Machado. I was scheduled to have Sean on the golf, but something came up. Sean had to postpone. So Maz is going to jump in, and I think it's still going to be an awesome show. Our last panel that Thursday night was badass. All right, let's get through Bukaki.
It's true and accurate surveillance footage of the Sally Port that night.
Yes, it's just mirrored.
Which means what's left is right and what's right is left, correct?
Correct. If
Come on, bro.
if the jurors were actually standing where the camera is recording, which it's recording all accurate depiction of activity and events taking place. The back of
Kamala. I think I got it. Kamala. Did I say it right? Thank you so much for the 75 on Cash App. So we'll add that to the total. Then 25% will go back, get kicked back to Karen Reed tonight. Thank you. And Nancy, thank you. $20 on Venmo. We'll add that to the total as well. All right, let's go.
the vehicle would be on the right and the front of the vehicle would be on the left, but all activity is accurately depicted in the video.
So in point of fact, everything in this video, every bit of it is reversed, correct?
It's just a mirror image.
So it's not accurate, is it?
It's an accurate depiction of what has taken place.
Sergeant Buchnick, if I were to ask you, let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say you were investigating a circumstance in which a suspect was being identified by 5 witnesses based on a tattoo on that person's left arm.
I like this.
And then you go show that witness or those series of witnesses an inverted version of a photograph of that person with the tattoo appearing on his right arm. And those witnesses all say, no, that's not the guy. I remember the guy. The guy had the tat on the left arm. Would you think that that's an accurate depiction of the person with the tattoo?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you agree with me that an inverted video is not accurate? It's inverted by definition, right?
Jackson's so good.
It's an accurate depiction of the events taking place.
Look at he's not having it. Look at Karen.
You've reviewed this video in its entirety.
Everybody's
correct?
smiling.
Yes.
About how long would you say this video is in its runtime?
I'll tell you. I mean, listen, and I love all of Karen's team, but meeting Alan Jackson was like off the chain for me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing in front of Alan Jackson. And, you know, I know that some of you all have, you know, seen him outside of court, but to be able to have like a half an hour and meet him, and I was like in awe. I really was. I was in awe a little bit. I'm like, holy shit, Alan Jackson's standing in front of me. This is pretty cool. And he just I don't know. He's just got it. You know what I mean? There's just something about him. And then when you watch him work in court, you are just drawn in and you want to pay attention to everything that he's saying. He's talking about his body language. He just knows how to command a room, and nothing to take away from David Yannetti. I love David Yannetti. Just 2 completely different styles, but they get it. And then Liz Little with all of her just being kind of the control center at that table, passing documents and being very attentive and looking at the jurors and passing notes and getting, you know, paperwork passed at the right and correct time. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Some of the kindest people you've ever could meet. And it was just badass. It was a really the highlight of this channel. It really was. And then just having the opportunity to spend, you know, half an hour with Karen and be able to hang out with Will and talk to Karen's parents, Janet. Oh my God, she's so nice. I spoke with her so long before court, and we talked a lot after court, and the sweetest lady. Very, very sweet. All right, let's keep playing
Start
here.
to finish.
I did not take note of the length of the video.
All right. I'm going to ask you, Mr. Bates, if you could, with the court's permission, can you just pull the cursor back to the
Exactly.
beginning of the time of day for this video? And pause it there. Can you see, and this is not an eye exam, can you see the timestamp on the lower left-hand
Great,
side?
wasn't it? We're going to get to
No, I
it.
cannot.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I could do this.
I'd like to see it sidebar.
All right, we're going to speed this up.
All right, your questions, Mr. Jackson?
Thank you.
I love that. I love that. You're right.
Thank you for that, Your Honor.
Love it.
Sergeant Buchanan, given the fact that the beginning time, the time of day, is 5:30 and 23 seconds in the evening, and the end time of this video stops at 5:48 and 15 seconds, would you agree with me, without doing the math down to the seconds, that's about 17 minutes and 50 seconds or so?
In real time, yes.
In real time. The actual time of this video, the run time of this video, however, is only 5 minutes and 51 seconds, less than 6 minutes. You'd agree with that?
That is
Oh, wow. Look at this. Cozy crime. Look at this. This is unbelievable. I've been here since 1K subs. I knew back then your channel was going to grow big. Thanks for all your hard work. And here's to another 20K. Cozy crime, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Thank you for dropping in and thank you for the $5. Yeah, it's been a long road, but a very fulfilling road, and we haven't even gotten started yet. We still have a lot of work to do here on the channel, but I appreciate it. Thank you. That was very kind super chat. Appreciate you. All right, let's
is
keep
what's
going.
captured.
So that means that about 2/3 of the video is missing, correct?
MEA.
It's not missing, just not recorded.
It's not there.
It was never there.
I'm not saying it was ever there. I'm saying I don't know if it was ever there or not. Neither do you. I'm saying it's not there, correct?
It was
Harley
never
on X
recorded.
watching.
Well,
Thank
you don't know what has been and wasn't recorded, do you?
Objection.
I'll let him answer that.
Do you?
I can only speak to what was turned over and what we received. And based on the evidence that was produced, the video that was produced is what we got.
I understand. So based on that answer, you acknowledge you don't know what may or may not have been recorded without your knowledge.
No.
Right. Did you notice that there were obvious portions of the video that in which individuals just seem to appear or apparate?
I love this part too, because now Bukaki is going to try to get into explaining how the DVR recorders or the cameras record, and the motion activation, and then Alan Jackson just gets right into it, and he's like, "No, you really don't know. You really don't know."
Nowhere.
It's not a smooth recording of the events. When the motion triggers the recording, the video appears as if a person appeared in the video. But that is due to the triggering of the recording.
Well, you don't know what it's due to because you're not an IT person who actually captured the video, correct?
Objection.
Sustained asked that differently.
Sure. You're not the IT person, the technical person who captured this video, correct?
I am not, no.
You don't maintain this video system, do you?
I do not know.
You don't know the inner workings of how the video system was originally installed or how it operates, correct?
Based on my training and experience, I know that certain systems, due to the restrictions of the storage of the system, they try to save the storage and trigger the recording only by motion or certain time parameters. So in this video footage, I could tell you that the video is triggered by motion to record.
IT guy,
How
bro.
much storage did this system have?
Don't know.
I do not know.
What was the level of storage at the time that this video was taken? Was
Don't
it
know.
60%? Was it 99%? What was it?
I do not know.
So you actually don't know, Sergeant, the inner workings of this system, do you?
You're right, Lisa. Keep
I do not
lying.
know all the inner workings of the system.
But you do know that there appears to be portions of this video missing and portions of this video in which people just seem to apparate out of nowhere.
It's not missing. It just was not recording.
This is narcissism at its finest.
I think it's 5:37.
This guy's such a narcissist. They want to just protect themselves. The thing is that this is, these are bad cops. These are bad cops. And I tend to really like law enforcement, but these guys are bad. And I know that there's other officers or other ex-officers that are watching this court proceeding and saying the same thing I am. These are bad cops. They should not be in this line of business because all they care about is themselves. And, that status that I am I'm a lieutenant in the Massachusetts State police. I'm a trooper at the Massachusetts State Police. And they walk around and try to, think that they run the world because of who they are. And I bet you that's how they lead their conversations. They seem like the type. Proctor and Bukkake seem like the type. Do you know who I am? I mean, just based off all their arrogance, it's pretty sad. It's disgusting that, these people are allowed to serve and protect us. Yeesh. I need like a shower.
Okay, if we could, with the court's permission, can we play about
Like that,
less than
Darcy.
a minute?
Good
Yes.
stuff.
Pause it. Did you see where the person that was toward the back of the vehicle went
Excuse
in
me.
this video?
It appeared they went behind the vehicle.
Watch
Which would
it
be
jump
which
before the
area of the
people pop
vehicle,
out.
right or the left? In real life, not on this video.
In real life, it would be the right rear portion of the vehicle.
Toward the taillight area.
That quarter panel, correct?
Let's go ahead and play it.
Look at the people just popping up everywhere. Look at the people popping up everywhere.
Did it appear that someone just seemed to appear out of nowhere toward the rear of the vehicle?
Phantom apparition.
Due to the triggering of the motion,
I asked you why. I asked you if.
No.
Did it appear if someone just appeared out of nowhere in the back of the vehicle?
How?
That's what the foot.
Question: how does he become an expert on triggering motion? How y'all become an IT expert all of a sudden? It's crazy.
Which represents, yes.
Can we go ahead and play this? Pause it. Did you see that the person walking away from the vehicle
Who's your
that you
uncle?
earlier on Wednesday identified as Trooper Proctor appeared to have a notebook, black portfolio in
Apparitions.
his hand?
Yes, I did.
And can you see from there, I'm going to ask you this, basically knowing the answer, can you see from there the time of day on the lower left side as that person leaves the screen?
No, I cannot.
Would you disagree if I indicated to you that was 5:38 and 7 seconds in the evening?
I would have to see it for myself. I cannot agree with you based on your statement.
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll speed this up.
On Wednesday, identified.
Ah, that was back again.
I did the
Okay.
same thing. I think it's
All
next
right.
step.
So that will now be what, Madam Court Reporter?
5:42.
Thank you.
And with the court's permission, I'd ask to
Morris
display
is not
that
gonna
video.
testify.
Yours.
Okay.
You guys not going to testify.
Bates, if you could move that to a runtime of 1 minute and 17 seconds, so thereabouts. And go ahead and pause that. Sergeant, do you recognize what's depicted in what's just been marked as Exhibit 542?
I do.
How do you recognize that?
So now they've
It's an
reversed the
inversion
video.
of the video provided from Canton
Wait,
PD
put it
Sally
what?
Port.
It's actually, and that inversion corrects the perspective. Would you agree with that?
I would.
Okay, so now we're looking at well, we've always been looking at, but it's clear that we're looking at the driver's side of the vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
And it's everything in it's properly oriented, is that right?
It's an accurate depiction of what is taking place.
Meaning right is right and left is left in this.
The mirror of the mirror, yes.
The vehicle came from the right into the left. The driver's side is visible and is closest to the camera.
If we could go ahead and, thank you, Sergeant. If we could go ahead and play this for just a few seconds, please. Pause it. You saw the person that was toward the back of the vehicle that you earlier on Wednesday identified as Trooper Proctor moving toward the right, I'm sorry, yes, the passenger side taillight area in this video, correct?
I observed the person walking that way.
Let's go ahead and play it. Pause. And you see the person
Popping up everywhere.
taillight area moving out of frame just now, correct?
I did, yes.
And that person had the that black portfolio in his hand.
That's correct.
I'd like to ask Mr. Bates if you wouldn't mind moving the cursor back to the beginning before the video, I'm sorry, before the SUV was actually in the sally port. If you can pause that. Do you see what's depicted in the video now at one time, at the beginning of the video?
I see the still frame. I'm observing the still frame.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Can you see from where you are, sir, can you see the chyron at the bottom of the video in blue, indicating the date stamp and time stamp? Can you see that from where you are?
I see the blue color. I don't know what exactly it is.
Are your eyes good enough to see that that is completely inverted?
They are not.
They're not inverted?
They are not good enough.
That was a good answer to a bad question on my part. With the court's permission, would it be possible for the sergeant to approach the screen and take a look at that timestamp?
Can you do that, Sergeant, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, wow. Interesting. He's like, oh, shit.
Were you able to, may I inquire? Yes. Were you able to see that timestamp?
Yes, I was.
Sergeant, did that timestamp appear to be inverted?
The blue writing appears to be backwards.
So in this version of the video, which has been inverted from the version shown by the Commonwealth, the timestamp also was inverted, correct?
What appears on the screen is inverted.
Thank you. I'd like to zoom in on, just with the court's permission, on a portion of the middle of the video.
Okay.
Sergeant, I want to direct your attention to an area of the video right above the hand truck. Do you see that area?
I do.
You see that white object just above the snow line?
I see something there. I do not know what it is, if it's an object or it's more snow.
Can you tell if that's a sort of a dirty white rag?
I cannot tell what it is.
Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Fish. We can take that down. We've seen a corrected version of that Sallyport video from that camera. There's also another camera on the opposite side of the Sallyport, isn't there?
There is.
And that one, for lack of a better phrase, that one came out pretty grainy. Would you agree?
Yes, it's not perfect quality.
The other view would show, given the fact that it's on the opposite side of the wall of this video, that actually would show the right rear portion of the SUV as it was parked in that sally port, would it not?
Yes, it would.
Let's take a look with the court's permission. This has already been marked as 446. I believe it was introduced last week. If with permission,
Okay.
could we display that?
Yes.
Thank you. I know it's very hard to see, Sergeant, but could you tell me as the video is paused right here at the beginning, timestamp, can you see the outline of the antique police car?
I can make that out, yes.
And it appears that there's no
Damn, that's
vehicle
grainy.
in the foreground this side of that antique police car, correct?
That's correct.
You also can see that this video is in fact not inverted. It's the correct orientation, right?
That's correct.
And obviously it's pretty lacking in quality, but you can make out the fact that there is
Really
an
bad.
outline of a vehicle there, correct?
It's probably the glare on the screen too.
Correct.
We can play, may I approach the screen briefly?
Yes.
Wow, this is really bad.
If we could, with the court's permission, begin playing at this time, this is about 5:07 and 10 seconds. That's time of day. We can play for about a little less than a minute.
Okay.
Jeez, man. Holy shit. What?
Sergeant, did you see what was depicted on the video that just ran from 5:07 and a few seconds until it was just paused?
I did watch the video.
And how much time would you estimate elapsed as we just watched that video in real time?
15 seconds, maybe.
Okay. And do you see something? You see something in the foreground that just sort of appeared there next to that antique police car.
It appears that the SUV has now pulled into the Sally Port and there's an individual standing behind the SUV.
And do you see what the time of day is on that timer?
I do not.
Can you see that it's paused at 5:50 and 46 seconds?
I cannot.
This is the last time I would ask that unfortunately, I cannot zoom on this, Your Honor. With the court's permission, would the sergeant make one more trip to the screen to give us the exact time that this is paused?
This is the last time, Sergeant. Would you please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
God, that video is terrible. Are you kidding me?
What was the time? What is the timestamp where the video is paused?
5:50:46.
5:50 and 46 p.m. Correct?
That's correct.
So it appears that this video in about 15 seconds jumps
The
42
Lally Port,
minutes
I like that.
to the 5:50 mark. Correct?
That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one, Johnny.
I don't know how much it jumps.
Well, from 5:08 approximately to 5:50 approximately, how much time is that?
Approximately 48.
42 minutes, right?
Excuse me, 42. Yes.
That's okay. And this reads a vehicle which shows the right rear taillight portion just appears, correct? At 5:50.
Excuse me.
There's a vehicle that appears. There appears to be an individual standing behind the vehicle. It's not just a taillight that appears.
But Sergeant, the exact time that would show what Trooper Proctor was doing at the right rear taillight, that is missing.
Objection.
Sustained.
the exact time that would show what the person who you identified on Wednesday as being Trooper Proctor.
got it, Paula.
That video is not there, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
This video, Sergeant, you will agree, if that 42-minute period existed, that would have been the only video that would establish the actual condition of the taillight the moment the SUV arrived in police custody in that Sally Port, correct?
Objection.
You can ask that differently.
Is there any other video other than this one that would show the exact condition of that taillight as it pulled in to the driveway and then to the Sally Port? Or is this the only one?
From that location,
Correct.
that is the video that captures that time frame.
And that's also the video that captures that area of the car, correct? The right rear portion of the car.
Correct.
And that 42 minutes from when the car arrived until 5:50 in the evening, that portion is missing, correct?
It's not missing. It's just not recorded.
It's not
It's
there.
missing. It's
I'm
not
splitting
there.
words with you, splitting hairs. It's not there. It's gone, correct?
It's not. It's not on the screen now.
It's not anywhere, is it?
I do not know.
That's all I have.
Okay.
All right, I don't need to hear Lally. I just wanted to hear Jackson. All right, let's go to Bukaki. Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate you all. Make sure to smash that like button. And again, any donation that comes in tonight via Cash App, via Venmo, Super Chat, 25% of it will get kicked back to Karen. I think we're at $150 right now. So we want to try to get to $50 for Karen right now. At 150 would put us at about $38. So just a little bit more. All right, let's get to Bukaki. Let's hear about those text messages.
So, jurors, before we begin, Mr. Lally, as you approach the podium there, when I tell you that I strike something from the record, I know I've told you before, that means you're not to consider it, okay? Go ahead, Mr. Lally.
All right. I sped it up a little bit because I can't stand Lally.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So, with reference to, before we go, we're talking a bit about Julie Albert and Chris Albert, correct?
Yes.
And, how would you describe your relationship, if any, between Julie Albert and Chris Albert prior to January 29, 2022?
Loose acquaintances.
People that you knew through your sister, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, with reference to the occasions that you had said where you may have been at the same place at the same time at a family function or something like that, over what period of time are we talking about, and about how many different instances of that occurred over those years?
Yeah, how far is it into the text part? I didn't get to watch any of this today, so you're going to have to guide me. How far more do I have to go in? Casey. Because isn't it right here? I don't know. I didn't watch this testimony, so you guys are all going to have to guide me. This is the first time I've gotten to sit to watch it all day. How far more do I need to go in? Because this is after the break. When he has the papers in his hands. All right, let me speed up. Thank you. So it would be about here. Got it. Thank you for the guidance. I have not like an hour. I'm not sure. No, I think this is it because they're looking at them. I didn't get to watch this today. I had to work all day. That's why I wanted to do this tonight, to watch it with all of you. Little viewing playback party. Excuse me. It's crazy as hell. I listen, you know, it's like I had the feeling inside. I can't wait, but it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Karen that this piece of shit had to get up and talk about her the way that he did, and say things about her personal her personal things and things like that. You know, it's pretty, it's downright disgusting. All right, let's go.
Sir, I'm showing you a document. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
I'm gonna.
And what do you recognize it to be?
It's a text message thread labeled Proctor Friends.
Now, over the course of your investigation, over the course of this case, are you aware that there were iCloud data that was obtained from your personal cell phone?
Yes.
And different text strings from that iCloud data from your personal cell phone, correct?
Correct.
And with respect to what has just been placed before you, is that an excerpt or piece from those particular messages?
It is.
And from the front page of that, can you tell the jury who are sort of the participants in this particular text communication?
There's several numbers that aren't identified. The three that are under kind of nicknames me and my buddies have for each other.
And generally speaking, just as far as the participants in this text communication, who are these people to you, and how do you know them? How long have you known them? Who are they?
The members on this text thread are.
Now, did Lally think this was going to be a smart tactic, putting this out there? I mean, I get it. I know it was going to probably be hit in cross, but probably not a smart move. Probably had the opportunity to stop and say, listen, we're going to hear some things that have been brought up in some text messages. Trooper Proctor, is there anything that you would like to say or apologize about? He would have the opportunity to apologize to Karen Reed. Nope. Complete narcissist, complete above the law, doesn't give a shit about you, doesn't give a shit about Karen Reed. Just going to keep going on with his business. And this is the way that this guy talks. So not only in this case, talks like this to his friends, he talks like this to his family. This is who this guy really is.
Close friends from junior high, first grade even.
So people you've known for years, is that correct?
Correct.
And do each of them live, or do any of them live within the general area at this time?
Some of them do, yes.
And so when some of them do, some of them do not, is that correct?
Correct.
And the ones that do not, how far away do they live?
As far as Tennessee.
Now, with reference to this, there's an indication as far as the first message sent or last message sent from this particular text chain, correct?
Sorry, repeat the question, please.
Sure. Sort of towards the middle of the first page. Help direct your attention to that area. Is there any indication as far as the first message sent and the last message sent with respect to this text chain?
On the first page, yes.
And what is indicated as far as the first message and the last message?
The first message is, I need to brandish a gun more often. The last is, Chip, name of that BPD cop.
No, I'm sorry, sir. If I could direct your attention to the first page in this packet, page 2527, you see conversation details. I'm sorry, may I approach?
Yes.
If I could direct your attention to the right.
Okay.
You see what I was talking about now?
I do, sir.
And from that area labeled conversation details, there's a first message sent date and time and a last message sent date and time, correct?
Yes.
What is the first message sent date and time?
It's 10/18 of 2021 at 8:48 a.m. The last message sent is 8/31/2022 at 11:19 p.m.
And is there also within that conversation details an indication as far as number of messages over that time frame within this communication?
There is.
And what does it list for number of messages?
It's 38,707.
My
It's
God.
fair to say the packet that you have before you does not contain all 38,707
Get to the
messages, correct?
messages.
That's correct.
The
Holy
first message that you had, I believe, alluded to in reference to the first one listed within this communication. What date and time is that?
That was January 29th, 2022 at 10:36 p.m.
And who is that message from?
My friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what, if anything, did he send to the group?
I need to brandish a gun more often.
And if you know, what is that in reference to?
He just recently moved to Tennessee, and he was kind of, I think, making a joke as kind of the lifestyle down there where guns are more prominent or more common.
I don't think that's what it is.
Common to be carried around there. So I interpreted that as a joke in that nature.
Yeah, sure. You know what it's indicating.
And the next message, sir, from that same page, 2527.
The next one is it's bold.
And is there a name associated with that number that's in these?
No,
Do you know who that person is?
I don't.
And the next message, sir, from 10:52 p.m.
Chip, name of that BPD cop.
And Chip, who is that referring to,
That's
sir?
exactly what I
That
was
is one of my
gonna say.
nicknames I've had since maybe high school.
So a nickname that would be familiar amongst these group of friends in particular.
Yes.
And this time period when these text messages begin, sometime after 10:30 or 10:50 p.m. on January 29th, where are you and what are you doing in reference around that time period?
At this point in time, on the 29th, I'm home.
And that last text message, do you respond to that at approximately 10:53 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was your response?
John O'Keefe.
And the next message down from there, also at 10:53 p.m.
Yes. He took custody of his sister's kids.
That's your response. There's another response above that. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what does that say?
How old?
And you respond as far as he took custody of his sister's kids, correct?
Correct.
Skipping down a couple, do you see an entry at 10:53:49 p.m.?
Yes.
And that's from a 617 number. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the response there?
Oh man, that's rough.
And following that, do you respond to the earlier query as far as age?
I do.
And what did you say?
Mid 40s.
Now, the next message below that, as far as indication of mid 40s, what is that?
His age.
No, I understand that. I'm sorry. The next message underneath that, sir.
I'm sorry. It's a Facebook link.
And do you recall what that Facebook link is to?
It's to John O'Keefe.
And is that something you sent or one of your friends sent?
One of my friends sent.
And the next message below, turning to now page 2529 at the top there. What is the next message that's sent?
What's that? Don't have the book anymore.
And as far as the book, what did you understand that to mean? Maybe approach.
Sure.
Let's speed up, of course. Now, to let everybody know, on these sidebars, I don't know if anybody explained it. All the lawyers will get up. Judge Bev will just come off the bench to her right. And they kind of all huddle in this very enclosed area because the judge's bench is there. And they're all just kind of hovering around in that area. And they're really, really good at talking quietly. It's almost like a skill that they've evolved over being a lawyer. Because I'll tell you, even I was trying to listen, I was pretty close to them. Listen to Jackson and maybe Lally. They passed a document. They were whispering each other's ear to talk about what they were going to, possibly bring up during a particular piece of testimony. It's hard. You can't hear them. They've kind of nailed that skill down, and they're pretty good at the sidebars too. But Bev, you would see because she's facing us, so she's very animated, or you could see the look on her face. She might be mad at something that's going on or concerned. So it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. All right, let's go. Let's see. They should be coming back here. Oh, geez. Oh, no. Oh, Sean, our condolences are with you tonight. Wow. Oh, no. That's awful. Sean, our condolences are with you tonight, my brother. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. I know the feeling. I've lost a brother, so I know the feeling. I'm so sorry, Sean.
You are
Get the witness
unmuted.
back, please.
That's your mind, Stephanie Cooper. Still on the vote?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, send some prayers to Sean. I know what it's like to lose a brother. All right, we're gonna
Proceed, Your Honor.
Yes.
Trooper, if I could direct you back to page 2529 within that packet before you. And below that text stating what's that, I don't have the book anymore. You respond, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is it that you say there?
This one is a nightmare. Forget about the kids. That's awful.
And sir, if I could direct your attention again within that same packet to 2532. And there's a message there sent at 10:56 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who's that from?
A friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what does he say in that text?
I'm sure the owner of the house will receive some shit.
And you respond at 10:56 as well as 10:57. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is it that you respond?
My first response was nope. Homeowner is a Boston cop too.
And what, if anything, were you saying, or what was the purpose of that text in regard to the homeowner?
I was just letting him know that essentially Mr. O'Keefe is a Boston cop and the homeowner was a Boston cop as well.
Now, if I could turn your attention to 2533. And top of the page, sir, if you could read through that page as far as who's texting and what are they saying?
Again, for my friend from Tennessee and myself, I hope not, but I can't see it. I responded with, she waffled him. I looked at his body at the hospital. He was banged up.
Now, as far as the next text from a 781 number, what does that say?
Did he get beat up?
And you responded to that. Is that?
Here's an interesting dynamic. You know what I just noticed? Isn't it interesting that when Brian Higgins was on the stand, Lally pulled up all the text messages for the jury to see and have Brian read them off the screen? But isn't it interesting that the jury, or and maybe I might be wrong here, but I don't see them up on the screen. It's interesting that these text messages aren't up on the screen and Proctor's having to read them from the screen for the jury. I don't know. I didn't watch this and I don't see them up on the TV. So maybe someone could correct me because I'm just seeing this. Oh, the TV glitched. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? How it doesn't work. So again, I'm just watching this in the raw right now. I haven't seen this today. Ah, thank you. They were having technical difficulties. Ah, interesting. All right, let's keep playing.
Is that correct?
I did.
It's just an observation that I saw, and again, I haven't seen this testimony, so I'm trying to really cue in here. All right, let's keep playing.
The objection sustained as to form.
What, if any, response did you provide to that?
Nope.
Objection. The objection was to the former question and the answer.
I'll strike it.
Thanks.
Now, turning your attention to 2534. And from this page, sir, if you could, again, just read through as far as indicating to the jury who's speaking and what is being said.
From the start of the first text, so the owner of the house?
Yes.
So the owner of the house was a woman cop that beat him? That's what I initially thought after talking to Can paramedic. Then I saw the guy.
And those last two are your responses, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, the following text messages are from your friends, is that correct?
Yes.
What do they say?
Bear, let's focus. What does she waffle to mean? What's the story? I responded, she hit him with her car.
And the she that you're referring to there, who is that?
Miss Reed.
Now, turning your attention to the next page, 2535. Again, if you could start at the top of the page and read through that page and just indicate to the jury who is talking and what is being said.
Okay. My friend in Tennessee states, okay, that's fucked up. I respond, intentional or not. Then another response, gotcha. He was frozen in the driveway and she didn't see him, question mark. That's another animal we won't be able to prove. And then I respond, they arrived at the house together, gone to an argument.
I will speak out loud or out of turn.
The objection's overruled.
Your Honor,
But
if I could say this, there needs to be an identifier of who's.
I understand what you think the mix-up is. So, Mr. Lally, go back.
Thank you.
Sir, if
Right.
you could please, again, start at the top of the page and just indicate.
No, just after the gotcha, he was frozen in the driveway, correct, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
I respond, that's another animal we won't be able to prove. I follow that up. They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left. 781 number responds with, what's the name of the Canton cop living in Canton? The other one involved.
And how do you respond to that, sir?
There's several other messages before I issue a response.
Objection again. Bottom of the page.
So it's not an objection, but Mr. Lally, why don't you point him?
So, sir, at the bottom of page 2535, you have a response, is that correct?
You're right. Interesting,
Correct.
huh? How that works.
And what is that response?
They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left.
Objection.
So it's going to be a matter you can address on cross.
There has to be some accuracy with the reading.
So I understand. So, Mr.
Thanks,
Lally,
Scott.
why don't you go point for your witness?
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at now he's squinting. I can't see anymore. Ah. Look at him. Oh, wow. Oh, because he knows the text messages are coming.
It's a HTML link, whiteout /Proctor iCloud /group chat Feb 2022. So you point out.
Can I see what you have for a second, please?
Yeah. What's
Sure.
Look at that. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
Mr. Lally, it's on there. Why don't you go show your witness?
Wayne's World.
Why don't you just read it, Mr. Lally, and tell us who you attribute it to?
Excellent.
So, sir, what I'm asking you about is
I apologize. I do know the C word is coming up. I apologize to all the ladies in the room. Not a word that should ever come out of a man's mouth to a woman, or should come out of anybody's mouth. It's a pretty disgusting word. So I just want to apologize to the ladies in the room. But we're all adults. We'll get through this. It's late. Here we go.
bottom of page 2535.
Thanks for the warning, Scott.
Excuse me, 2535. You indicated biffed him, correct?
Correct.
What did you mean
Party
by
on,
that?
Wayne. Party on, Garth.
Miss Reed had struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2537.
Sorry, ladies. Here it comes.
Now, do you see a response toward the bottom of the page from yourself, January 29th, 2022 at 11:04 p.m.?
Yes.
And can you read that response for the jury?
Yeah, but there'll be some serious charges brought on the girl.
And what did you mean by that, sir?
That throughout the course of the day, we had compelling evidence that Miss Reed struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
And you have two responses from friends, the same friends at the bottom of that page, 2537. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what are those responses?
Keep your voice up loud, please. Trooper Proctor, jurors can't hear you.
Wants them
Yes,
to
Your Honor.
hear it.
Number ending in 5051. Got to be. I can only imagine what internal affairs of the BPD are trying to get out there. The second response, same number. She hot at least.
Pretty disgusting. I just want to make this. I want to just let everybody know about this too. For some reason, in that room, there's no reverberation in that room. It almost sucks the sound out. So it is very, very hard to hear, even if you're speaking loud. Something about that room just absorbs sound. It's strange. You would think it would be reverberate because it's tall ceilings and wide, a wide room. It does not. And Scott probably can testify to that as well too. He's been in there. It is very hard to hear in there.
And turning your attention to the next page, 2538, at the top, if you could just read a series of responses from yourself, correct?
Yes, sir.
Read from those, sir.
Yep. So these came from me. From all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. She's a whack job. CUNT.
Objection.
So don't spell it. You have to. So these are your words, Trooper Proctor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Cunt.
Classy.
Yes, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though.
Disgusting.
Though, no ass.
And sir, what is it that you were referring to there, or why would you text
Disgusting.
These were, from all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. Is talking about the homeowner, Mr. Albert. I had mentioned the compelling evidence against Miss Reed at this point indicated that Mr. Albert had nothing to do with Mr. O'Keefe's death. The rest of the unprofessional and regrettable comments are something I'm not proud of, and I shouldn't have wrote in a private or any type of setting.
And you had the opportunity to apologize, you piece of shit. You could not look her in the eye and apologize.
Sir, at some point, if I could turn your attention to page 2540. And there's a photograph that's shared within this text communication. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Does it indicate who shared that photograph? On the prior page, possible.
The number ending in 5051.
And who is depicted in that photograph that was shared within the group text?
It's Miss Reed being escorted out of the State Police Milton Barracks.
And these are all from February 1st of 2022, around that time frame. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, sir, if I could direct you to page 2543. And sir, if I could direct you to the top of the page and ask you to read through that page, indicating who's speaking and what the content of those communications are.
Okay. Number ending in 4146. Question is that chick a smoke? Again, 4146 question mark. I respond EH. I respond again, not bag, as Chief would say. I also respond with she's got a leaky balloon knot, leaks poo.
And what, if anything, is that in reference to?
Again, to Ms. Reed's some medical conditions there. Again, unprofessional comments I should not have made, that I'm not proud of.
This guy's a piece of shit.
As far as attitudes expressed within these text messages and other text messages, what, if any, impact did that have as far as your investigation was concerned regarding
Fuck you, Lally.
These juvenile, unprofessional comments have zero impact on the facts and the evidence and the integrity of this investigation.
Fuck you.
They said these are unprofessional comments, but they absolutely do not detract from the integrity of the investigation or the facts and evidence of it.
This guy's a
Your Honor, may I
disgusting
approach this
snake.
retreat?
Yes.
Trash bandit.
Now, Trooper Proctor, you've seen text messages amongst yourself and a variety of different people from that same sort of.
We know why, at least some of the part why it was under an IA investigation, and I'm sure with the implications of the evidence tampering, that's part of it too. But his conduct here, and he's still continuously under an IA investigation too. This guy should have been fired immediately today when he got off the stand.
iCloud error of your personal phone, correct?
Correct.
Real classy human
And
being.
among those are there communications that you had with members of the Kin Police Department?
Yes.
And how would you characterize, or what was the general content of communications that you had with members of the Kin Police Department?
One communication was to coordinate interview times for firefighters and police officers and to set up a conference room where those interviews could be conducted. Obviously, the presence of Canton detectives or any police officers were not going to be sitting in on these interviews. Another communication was to inquire of relevant security videos that are in the area. Their local department, they know the area very well, so I reached out and asked if there's some good cameras in the area that I had of kind of interest in.
You know, it's funny. I had I lost I wouldn't say a friend, an acquaintance over this case. A nice acquaintance, someone that I talked to at the gym just about every day for about 15 years. Played in his football pool. You know, I got opportunity to win once, like over $2,000. And he came at me pretty hard. He's an EMS worker, and he said, you know, there's no way that all these people would conspire together to risk their pensions, to risk their livelihood. Well, what do you think today, hearing these, the vile shit that was coming out of this guy's mouth? Huh? You still going to stand behind these people and think they weren't part of a cover-up? You know, like I always said, there's bad people in all professions. All professions, there's bad people. But this guy is truly classless, the things that he said about Karen Reed. And not only is he doing it to Karen Reed, he's done it probably just to every other single case that he's been involved with. The shit talking and the nastiness that he said in those text messages. So that's right. You keep rolling with the Commonwealth, bro. Let me tell you, Karen Reed's never going to see a jail cell. This case is done. It's over. That jury's done. They want to deliberate. I guarantee they're going to come back pretty fucking quick. I'm going to speed it up a little bit.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm showing you another document. Is that, you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize?
Come on, thank you so much. $5. $5 super chat. Proctor isn't the only law enforcement that behaved badly. 2 were his supervisors. You're right. We'll add $5 to the total. Thank you so much. We're so close to getting that 50 to Karen tonight.
That to be, sir?
Text communications between my sister and I.
That's your sister Courtney, is that correct?
That's correct.
And similar to what I'd asked you about the prior packet, as far as a first message sent date and time, last message sent date and time, what is indicated on this first?
First message sent date time, December 10th, 2021 at 9:33 p.m. Last message sent 8:30, 2022 at 8:48 p.m.
At 8:30, that's August 30th, is that correct?
I'm sorry, yes, August 30th, 2022.
And similar to the other messages, is there an indication as far as how many number of messages were sent between yourself and your sister over that time period?
2,865.
And fair to say that the documents in front of you do not contain 2,865 messages?
Correct.
Now, just in reference to the first message on page 2662, the first page in this packet, do you see that from December 10th of 2021 at approximately 9:33 p.m.?
Yes.
And what does that indicate?
A text message from my sister.
And what does it say?
I called earlier, Dolph earlier, and mom was puking in the background.
And do you recall what that was in regard to?
From the sounds of it, my mother had a stomach bug.
And sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2667.
Tell me these get worse. The text messages get worse.
And these are text messages from January 29th, 2022, between yourself and your sister Courtney.
Correct.
And if you could read from the top of the page through the end, and please indicate to the jury as far as who's talking and who's saying what.
So I text
They
my
get
sister
worse.
at work, "What's up?" She responds, "What? Why?" I respond, "Or just found it frozen to death on a front lawn in Canton this morning. Actually just interviewed Jen McCabe, said she knows you."
And they knows you. Who are you referring to?
My sister.
And how did your sister respond to that?
Cut the shit. I responded, "You." It was a typo correction with my response to you. She responded, "Yeah, she knows Jack very well. She's really good friends with Julie." My sister continues on. Her sister is married to Brian Albert. My sister asks, "You still working?" Question mark.
Nikki, thanks for the 10.
I says, "Yep,
Free
going to be
Karen
out for a
Reed,
while.
thank you.
Homicide."
And as far as your answers to those questions, or as far as your communications that you had with your sister at this time on the afternoon of January 29th, what were those in regard to, or why were you communicating that to your sister?
At that time, it was just kind of in the news. I was just kind of letting her know I was out working. She didn't share anything specific. I wouldn't share anything specific on cases with my family or anyone.
Oh, 100%.
It was just kind of an overall innocent conversation.
Innocent
Turning your
conversation.
attention to the next page, 2669. Again, if you could read from that page as far as who was talking and what the content is.
All right. My sister starts off, "The Canton thing is a homicide." I respond, "This is at 3 p.m. on the 29th. Don't say a word to anyone." She said, "Of course not." I respond, "In the very least, it's suspicious." She responds, "This is your livelihood." And then I would never miss with that. 3:07, I respond, "Julie and Chris were at the bar with the victim and girlfriend. Got to interview them."
That's interesting. Says, could be a homicide. It's questionable. And then his sister says, "Well, this is your livelihood." And he said, "I'm not going to mess with that." That's interesting.
I'd like to direct your attention to page 2672. These are messages from February 1st, 2022. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the one at the top starts about February 1st, 5:57 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And again, if you could read through as far as who's speaking and what the content of those messages are.
I texted my sister, "What's up?" She responded, "Nothing. I just saw Julie, and she said when this is all over, she wants to get you a thank you gift." And I respond, "Get Elizabeth one." Elizabeth's my wife. And my sister responds, "Because I guess her and Chris were friends with John, and she's so proud of you for leading this." And then
Why
she
would you need
writes,
Elizabeth?
"Elizabeth question mark." I respond with, "She's been stuck with the kids for the last 10 nights. My sister responded with, "Yeah, but she knew what life is like married to a cop."
And sir, as far as the gift that's mentioned as far as Julie Albert, is that anything that you have received at any point in time?
Yeah, that's weird, huh, Shells? Wonder if that's going to be raised by Jackson at all. All right, let's keep playing.
I never received a gift. I never asked for a gift. My wife never received a gift. She never asked for a gift.
How would you describe this context of this conversation, or why that's being discussed at this time?
Again, I don't know the thought process of my sister and Julie as far as bringing that idea of a gift into play. Like I said, I didn't ask for one. I never received one. The same with my wife.
Sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2676.
No problem.
And again, if I could ask you to start at the top of the page and read through and just indicate as far as who's saying, who's speaking and what they're talking about.
Exactly why I raised that question. I guess there was a technical difficulty. The TV was glitching or something, which I find that very interesting. Perfect timing, huh?
I start out, we write like 8 to 12 warrants on each case. My sister responded, no, I have no idea what the hell you do or how it works. I responded on the 10th at 7:36 p.m. I'm starving, but I also just want to go home. Thanks, though. My sister responds, yeah, but is dinner going to be waiting? She responded with, ha, ha, ha. And then I responded, yep. And then my sister responded with, okay, it's fine. Mom and I just don't want to go home.
May I approach her?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Truth said it. Casey
Hey,
said it. Right?
Yes.
Another document, sir, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that?
This is private messages between my wife and I.
Again, what is your wife's name?
Elizabeth.
And what, if anything, does that indicate as far as dates,
What, if
times, and
anything?
number of messages involved?
Okay, so the first message sent 5/20/2022 at 6:19 p.m. The last message sent 8/31/2022 at 9:16.
$50 super chat from Free Karen Reed. Thank you so much. Says, let's get it over 50 for Karen tonight. Keep up the great work, Brian and team. Free Karen Reed and justice for John O'Keefe. Thank you so much. We're at 215 total. We'll take off 25% to kick back to Karen. That's going to put $54 in Karen's bank tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And the beat goes on. We'll keep racking them up as we go. We'll give the kickback at the end. But thank you so much, Free Karen Reed. I appreciate that. Great screen name, by the way. I love it. Great chat name. We say, remember screen names in AOL? What's your screen name? Remember that? That's a great chat name. We call it a chat name here. We can call it a screen name, however you guys want to do it. I like screen name because it reminds me of the old AOL. I mean, AOL. This is AOL chat. That's all this is. Watching a live video with AOL chat. What's your screen name? Remember that? What's your SN? Oh, shit. Those were the days. All right, let's play.
PM.
And what, if any, indication does it give as far as the number of messages within that text chain?
1,632.
And of those 1,162, there's one message that's listed on that. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the date and time of that
Thank
message,
you.
and what does it say?
Had 25.
This is me speaking on June 9th, 2022 at 4:56 p.m. I text my wife waiting to lock this whack job up.
And
I love it. Age, sex, location. Remember? Yes, the AIM Messenger was the best hookup tool ever. What's your SN? Remember that? What's your SN? Oh, shit. Johnny O, the 499er says, hey, Lally, if anything, doesn't mean dog shit to this case. Free Karen Reed. Love it. AOL chat. Dude, it was the wild. Remember that? The Wild West. AOL chat. We're at 245, 25% kickback to Karen. He's 43. Yes, Stanton. I love it.
what are you referring to in that text, sir?
I'm referring to the arrest after Ms. Reed was indicted by the grand jury.
And again, as far as the terminology that you use in that text message to your wife, why is it?
Again, unprofessional messages I should not have sent. I don't have an explanation other than
I'm a piece of shit.
They're regrettable and it's something I'm not proud of, the language I used.
I approach the retriever.
Yes. So Trooper Proctor, the jurors can't hear you. So speak directly into your microphone the way I'm doing, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Or second, text communications among your friend group. With
Here we
reference
That's nervous.
to what that
That's nervous tick right there. You see that? That is nervous Nelly. That's a nervous Nelly. Let's watch that in real time. That's a nervous Nelly.
or second, text communications among your friend group. With reference to what that particular time frame and the language that you used, what sort of information had you gathered to that point, and why would you say or use that particular language in your, particularly in your descriptions of the defendant?
So this is, 16, 18 hours later, and I conducted multiple interviews.
Speak up.
Conducted multiple interviews. We knew Mr. O'Keefe never went into Fairview Road. We knew there was one shoe at the scene, one shoe at the hospital. Based off Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, Miss Reed's statements when Sergeant Buchanan and I interviewed her, her broken taillight, the missing taillight, some taillight pieces found at the scene, the compelling evidence pointing directly at Miss Reed that she struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle led me to make those comments. Whether, like I said, they weren't professional comments, but based on the day's investigation, it was clear that Miss Reed had struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Sir, if I could turn your attention to the documents before you, do you recognize those?
I do.
And as far as the participants in that particular conversation, who are the participants listed there?
2 cash apps just came in. Veet, thank you so much for the 5. Says keep up the great work. Thank you. And Erin, thank you for the 20. And she says, free Karen Reed. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's add 25. All right, let's go.
It's Trooper David DeChico and myself.
And Trooper DeChico and yourself both work within the same unit with the state police, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's done.
And beyond the professional relationship you have with yourself, between yourself and Trooper DeChico, how would you characterize your relationship, generally speaking?
We're buddies, we go.
I'm telling you, all those sirens through this whole trial, all those sirens, when you hear the timing of them, I'm telling you, that's John. John's watching. John knows.
Off together, hang outside of work. Our kids play together, so let's say we're friends.
Now, within the, again, as far as the first message sent, date and time, and last message sent, date and time within this conversation, if you could describe that for the jury.
First message sent, date and time, March 17th, 2022, 11:08 a.m. Last message sent, date and time, August 18th, 2022, 6:08 a.m.
And again, the number of messages listed within this text chain?
87.
And fair to say the documents before you do not contain 87 text messages, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Now, just in general terms, if you have an opportunity to just look at the first couple pages there, fair to say those are just sort of jokes that you have going back and forth between yourself and Trooper DeChico, is that fair to say?
Yes.
Now, if I could turn your attention specifically to page 2632. And these are text messages starting on April 28th, 2022.
So the poops, and I'm an adult here, and I don't care. We're all adults. They're shitheads. They're shitheads. Has nothing to do with Karen. It has to do with these 2 shitheads that are on the stand. Lying ass cops that are a disgrace to the badge. shitheads, in my opinion. So I'm keeping the thumbnail. Has nothing to do with Karen. Has to do with these shitheads.
10:52 in the morning, is that correct?
So what was the time again, sir?
April 28th, 2022, 10:52 a.m.
Yes, correct.
And again, sir, with reference to this page, if you could read the content to the jury and please indicate whom is speaking at each respective times.
Okay. I said out without a doubt, he's got diarrhea of the mouth too. Trooper DeChico, rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination. I respond, Yuri and I had 2 conference calls with her, sent her numerous photos, etc. We laid out the entire case for her. Trooper DeChico responds, not good enough, should have had me or Jeff do it. I respond, if you two did it, she would have made it accidental or natural causes.
And can you explain the context of those communications, or what exactly is it that you and Trooper DeChico are talking about in that communication?
Okay, so the ME is a medical examiner. They conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. Our office, it's kind of a little bit of a locker room.
I'm telling you, those sirens. Rogue, I know you're in here. Can you do me a favor? Casey had to go to bed. She's gonna get up early tomorrow. We're gonna go a little while longer here. We were at 270. If you can just keep that rolling total while you're here, I would appreciate it. 270, then 25% of that kick back to Karen. All right, let's keep going.
On, wait for the ambulance, and then speak up. The jurors can't hear you way back where the court officer's standing.
Thank you, Rogue. This guy's a shithead.
So like I said, the ME stands for medical examiner. They conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. I guess I'll address the conference calls Sergeant Buchanan and I had with the medical examiner. The doctor had some questions as to the facts and evidence, kind of what had transpired, which is common. You know, even if it's a homicide, I've had many calls with the medical examiner's office, even if it's a suicide or overdose. Always with a homicide, the doctor wants to know what transpired. Trooper Chico and myself, we kind of like to bust each other's chops, go back and forth. So that's what he meant by saying rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination. The original determination came back.
Sustained. Next question, Mr. Riley.
Now, as far as attending the autopsy, is that something that typically someone within your office would do, within your unit would do with regard to any sort of death investigation?
Yes.
And do you know who attended the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe in this specific case?
Trooper Connor Keefe.
And so as far as Trooper Chico's reference to you not going in, or Sergeant Buchanan not going in, is that what you believe Trooper Chico was referring to in that message?
Objection.
Sustained as to the form.
You indicated that you and Trooper Chico bust each other's chops. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And can you describe a little more, expound upon that as far as the nature of your relationship and sort of
While
the
he's
text
trying to
messages
explain
that you're
this
exchanging
away.
this and then other communications that you have?
Basically just, kind of needling each other, and him doing that is by texting me, rookie move, not going into meeting with the medical examiner. So that's a perfect example of him kind of just needling me, which we do on a daily basis.
And as far as your interpretation of that, did you interpret that as a serious comment or something said in jest?
I interpreted that as a typical joke from Trooper Chico.
May I approach to retrieve?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's still working, Connor. He didn't get fired. Let's speed this up for time.
May I approach?
Yes.
From the documents, asking, do you recognize that?
Yes.
Do you recognize that?
Text messages between myself and Trooper Chico.
And again, what is the first message sent, date and time, last message sent, date and time, and number of messages contained therein?
Riley, shut up.
First message sent, date and time, April 28th, 2022 at 1:09 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, April 28th, 2022, 4:45 p.m.
And the number of messages, sir?
4.
Shell, thanks for the 5. We'll add that to the total. 270 plus 5 is going to be 275. 25% will kick back to Karen. State police compromised the medical examiner to say it's not a fight. So she's no longer credible. Hashtag real shock and horror. The horror. And score on your own net. All right, let's keep playing. Thank you.
And if you could read the contents of those messages contained there. Please indicate who's speaking.
So I start out, of course, it's undetermined. She was a whack job. Tribute to Chico responds,
Shaken.
"Dear God, WTF, what the hell is inconclusive about the whole thing?"
And as far as your indication there, as far as she was a whack job, who are you referring to there?
Miss Reed.
Violates her rights.
Now, as far as the undetermined of what you're talking about, what is sort of the content or the context of this conversation?
That would be the manner of death was determined to be undetermined by the medical examiner's office.
And so I ask you again, as far as your reference there in the bottom of the first page, as far as she was a whack job, who do
medical
you believe you're
examiner.
referring to there?
Again,
Reed or the medical examiner?
Miss Reed.
May I approach, John?
Yes.
How could any juror say that Karen Reed is guilty after seeing all that we have seen over the past 6 weeks? It's unbelievable. I'm going to speed up just for time.
Yes.
Again, if you could read from the first message sent date and time, the last message sent date and time.
First message sent, date and time, 5/24/2022, 9:21 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, 8/24/2022, 4:56 p.m.
And as far as the number of messages indicated within this text chain between yourself, Trooper Kukowski, and Trooper Chico,
494.
fair to say the documents before you do not contain 494 text messages, correct?
Correct.
Just in reference to that first page, 2635, first message sent, that's May 24th, 2022, around 9:21 p.m., is that correct?
Yes.
And that's a message sent from Trooper Kukowski, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is that?
Appears to be a picture of a toy Santa Claus.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2644. If I could direct you to the bottom of the page, sir, and see the text from yourself at June 9th, 2022 at 11:19 p.m.
Yes.
Very bottom of the page. You know, I may approach just to point it out.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it, sir. Okay.
If you could read what you wrote on June 9th, 2022, around that time, sir.
If you like women who shit themselves.
And again, sir, what is it that you're referring to there?
Again, a regrettable comment I made about Miss Reed's medical condition.
Now, if I could direct you to the following page, 2645. And again, if you could read from that page as far as who is, indicate to the jury who is speaking and what is being said on page 2645.
I'm speaking right now. The statement she made tonight at 8/7 was mental. Thank Christ it was on BWC, which is body worn camera. Trooper Kukowski responds, "That's her. Smoke." Trooper Kukowski again, what'd she say? I respond, said the Alberts beat the shit out of O'Keefe, left him for dead, and that's why her taillight was cracked. She's gross. Trooper Chico, oh, fuck her, bitch.
Thank you, sir. May I approach you, retrieve your arm?
Yes.
Sir, with reference to that last bit, as far as June 9th, 2022, what was going on that day in reference to this matter again?
Miss Reed was being processed at the Milton Barracks.
Thank you. I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Looking further. God, look how disorganized he is. Oh, fuck. He is all over the place.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm going to give another set of documents to recognize those.
I do.
What do you recognize those to be?
Another text thread with members from my office, troopers.
And who are the troopers that are listed within that?
Trooper Chris Moore, Trooper Jeff Kukowski, Lieutenant
PB&J,
John
thanks
Fanning,
for the
Trooper
$4.99.
Dave DeChico, and Sergeant Yuri Buchanan.
And what is the first message sent, date and time?
That would be 5/26/2022 at 8:19 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, 8/26/2022, 5:36 p.m.
And what is listed as far as the number of messages within this chain?
651.
And fair to say the documents before you do not contain all 651 of those messages within this chain, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2682. You see a message sent from Trooper DeChico on August 17th, 2022 at 9:42 p.m.
Yes.
And is that an image contained on the next page, which is 2683?
Yes, it is.
And what is the image of?
That is a picture of Mr. Yannetti, appears to be from quite some time ago.
Now turning your attention to the next page, 2684. And there's a response from you, August 17th, 2022 at 9:44 p.m. Is that correct?
Right?
Sorry, sir, go the date and time again, please.
Sure. Page 2684, 8/17/2022, 9:44 p.m.
Yes,
You see there's like sort of three responses from you.
I have you now.
If you could just read the three responses from yourself, sir.
Okay, so these came from me. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. No nude so far. I hate that man. I truly am.
Now,
No nudes so far. This guy went in and violated Karen Reed. He looked through her phone, her personal phone. Oh, this guy's a complete shithead.
with reference to the investigation at this point, when you're talking about his client's phone, who are you referring to?
Miss Reed.
And with regards to the phone at that point, can you describe to the jury sort of what's going on during this time period of August 17th, 2022 in regards to Miss Reed's phone?
So after obtaining a search warrant from Miss Reed's phone, we weren't able to extract any data from it until August of 2023. Troopers in my office knew I was going through the phone that evening. I was most interested in location data, text messages, Google
No, wait a
searches.
Wait a minute, wait. Did he just say the most important thing that they were concerned with was location data, but just previous to that, what did he say? No nudes. I'm sure that's really what you were concerned about, Trooper Proctor. The location data and text messages. You just said prior to that you were looking for nude photographs of Karen Reed. Real class act. Great. Proud father there, right? Classy.
That was the update I gave the troopers in the office. It was a distasteful joke. I should have gave a proper update instead of that. I wasn't able to go through the phone as thoroughly as possible because I came across some a text between an attorney and Ms. Reed, so I had to stop going through her phone, and I made my supervisor aware of those communications.
Now, just in reference to what you had just said, this is in August of 2022, is that correct?
Correct.
So after a search warrant is obtained for the defendant's phone, where did it go? You indicated you gave it to Trooper Carino, and where did it go from?
Trooper Carino essentially hooks it up to a device called Gray Key, where it tries every possible combination passcodes in order to access the data contained in the phone.
And at that time, when you retrieved it pursuant to the search warrant, you didn't have the passcode to the defendant's phone. Is that correct?
Correct.
He loses
That
his
device was
pension.
designed to sort of go through numbers and try to find a combination to get into the phone, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Sharon.
And so from the time that you had seized it in late January or on January 29th, 2022, until this date in August of 2022, had you been able to get into the phone or see anything in the phone in those intervening months or 7 months between January and August?
No.
And so then at this time that you're sending this text message in August of 2022, is that around the time that you were first able to access the phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yes, that was the first time we were able to have access to the phone.
And with reference to your access to the phone, were you looking for nudes or anything like that in regard to the defendant?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Like I stated, I was most interested in Ms. Reed's location data, text communications, Google searches, things of that nature.
No.
More evidence contained within the phone.
No, you're a lie.
And so, sir,
Exactly right.
you mentioned at some point you came across some information that caused you to sort of freeze your looking through the phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so as far as
Johnny, I don't know if that's really you or you use an avatar or whatever, but if that's really you, you got to look up the comedian Troy Bond because you look exactly like the comedian Troy Bond.
that specific time period in August of 2022, when was the next time that you or any troopers from your office were able to actually look at any extraction of the
Nice.
defendant's phone?
Look up Troy Bond.
So once I came across that text communication that took place on the 29th between Ms. Reed and an attorney, the phone had to be sent off to what they call a taint team to remove any attorney-client privilege information from the phone, and then it would be returned to us as well as defense received a copy of that as well. I'm not positive on the time. It was quite a long turnaround for that process to have been completed.
Sometime at least in the spring or summer of 2023. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
May I approach to retrieve, Your Honor?
Yes.
Kind of a trap, man.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
No further questions. I just can't wait.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions. Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to see it side
Look
by
at
side. Don't
Jackson
interrupt
running
you,
up.
Cross.
Look how quick Jackson got up. Holy smokes. What are we going to get? 15 minutes of Jackson, and she's going to shut him down? All right, they're going to side by here.
As it looks right now, it may not. At the most, it will be
Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
half an afternoon or something, maybe on Friday. But it does. As it looks right now, it may not. At the most, it will be half an afternoon or something, maybe on Friday. But it does now look good that we'll be able to continue with this. We're out tomorrow, but Wednesday,
Looks like a
Thursday,
who.
Friday will be
She looked like a Who from Whoville. She looks like a Who.
full days, and we'll be able to keep moving. All right. All right,
All right,
Mr.
here we
Jackson,
go.
go right ahead.
All right, Miss Jackson.
Super Proctor, in the summer of 2022, August 17th specifically,
Two.
you were sitting at your desk, presumably alone at your office, at about 10 p.m. at night, going through my client's personal cell phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, you were sitting there texting with your friends and colleagues at Massachusetts State Police about you going through her personal cell phone. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And that included Trooper DeChico. Is that right?
DeChico, yes, sir.
Trooper Fanning, Trooper Butnick, Trooper Moore, and Trooper Kutzkowski.
Kakowski.
Tell me that again.
Kakowski.
Kakowski.
Yes, sir.
All right. All the consonants are silent. Fair enough. Trooper Fanning and Trooper Butnick are your supervisors.
Yes.
And you were bragging to all 5 of them that you were going through Karen Reed's cell phone about 9:45 at night.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that right?
No, I wasn't bragging, sir.
Oh, Nick Rocco in court.
How did you refer to Ms. Reed in that text exchange where you informed them that you were going through her phone?
I used regrettable language. I said going through his retarded client's phone right now.
You were shown a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Unetti, correct?
Yes.
Ooh.
May I approach?
Oh,
Yes.
no. Oh.
Same document. Your Honor, I think the court has the copy that I was going to use.
I thought I gave him back to you.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh boy. Oh, this is gonna be good. I mean, come on, bro. Oh.
You'd received a photograph.
Oh, this is gonna
Actually,
be
Your Honor, if I could, I would ask that this document be marked as next in order. Assuming the witness verifies its authenticity.
So go ahead.
Do you recognize this document?
I do, sir.
Same document that you were shown, copy of the same document that you were shown by Mr. Yannetti, correct?
Still Lally.
I've done that twice. Mr. Lally.
Correct.
All right. Is that a true and accurate reflection of the text messages that you were exchanging with Chris Moore, Jeff Kakowski, John Fanning, Vito DiCicco, and Yuri Buchanan?
Yes.
I'd ask that this be marked.
Okay, any objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll see you outside down there. Have that. please.
God.
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Trooper Proctor, Trooper DiCicco had sent you a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Yannetti, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, because of the technical issue, I'm not going to display on the television. May I display this hard copy briefly?
Sure.
Thank you. You see that, gentleman?
I do, sir.
Is that the photograph that you received?
Yes.
Is that what you referred to on direct examination with Mr. Lally about receiving a photograph from of Mr. Yannetti?
Correct.
And then your response was what?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
Actually, your response was, I'm going through his retarded client's phone right now, correct?
Yes, after the picture, sir. Yes.
Who's the retarded client?
I was referring to Miss Reed again, unprofessional language.
I'm asking for who you were referring to.
Miss
I know
Reed.
You got an explanation. Who was it you were referring to as retarded?
Miss Reed.
Karen Reed, the woman sitting to my left.
Yes, sir.
The subject of your investigation as a professional, correct?
Yes, sir.
As an unbiased, objective investigator, the person that you were investigating, you referred to your bosses as retarded, correct?
Again, poor language on my part.
Poor language is one way to put it. Completely offensive is another way to put it, right?
Objection.
I've got to sustain that, Mr. Jackson.
After you referred to my client as retarded, then you decided to make a comment about Mr. Yannetti, her lawyer, correct?
Correct.
And what did you say about Mr. Yannetti again?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
I hate that man. I truly hate him, correct?
Correct.
You didn't say I dislike him, disagree with him. You said I hate him, correct?
Correct, sir.
That's a visceral response to someone who's just doing a job, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
Sure. Let me ask it this way. Were you upset or annoyed or pissed off that Karen Reed had gotten representation, legal representation, to represent her?
No, not at all. That's her right.
Well, let me ask you this. In August of 2022, you said you absolutely hate it, correct?
I don't know if I use absolutely. Yeah, I didn't use absolutely, sir.
You used truly, correct?
Truly, yes.
How do you feel about him now? Sitting right there.
I still don't care for him now.
Right. I'll let it stand.
Oh, Yannetti said the feeling is mutual. Yannetti mouthed the feeling is mutual. Wow. Look at Karen's face. She's just smiling ear to ear that she's got this guy. What a complete trash bandit Trooper Proctor is. This guy's a disgrace to the badge. He's disgrace to the communities that has served. And this is behavior that has continued through his entire career because he thinks he's above the law. It's a pretty disgusting human being. This is someone that I wouldn't want to serve and protect my community. Trooper Proctor, you're an embarrassment. An embarrassment to the badge, an embarrassment to the Massachusetts State Police, and an embarrassment to the communities that you have served. And you should resign, sir. You should resign. Thank you so much for the 1999er. We'll round that up to 20. We had 5 gifted memberships from Sarah. That's $25. We'll add that to the total as well, too. Unreal.
What did you tell your colleagues that you were looking for as you sat at almost 10 p.m. at night on a Wednesday night, August 17th, 2022, looking through Karen Reed's phone?
I didn't tell them I was looking through anything. They knew I was going through Miss Reed's phone. I provided a inappropriate joke as an update. They knew I was going through location data, text messages, Google searches. But like I had mentioned earlier, I had stopped.
Except Trooper Proctor, none of that really professional sounding stuff ended up in your comments to your bosses, did it?
Again, it was a poor joke.
Is that yes or no?
It did not, no.
It did not.
No,
As a
sir.
matter of fact, what did you write after you talked about going through the quote retarded client's phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No nudes so far.
No nudes so far, correct?
Correct.
And you said that to your bosses.
Yes, sir.
Oh. And how did the bosses not report
You were
him?
looking for naked
It's
photographs
just
of
bad.
Miss Reed on a Wednesday night as you sat in your office at 9:44 p.m., correct?
No, not correct.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked for naked photos of a male suspect that you were investigating?
I don't look for naked photos in anyone's phones.
But you said you were looking for nudes of Miss Reed,
Like I had
correct?
said, Mr. Jackson, it was an inappropriate joke.
A joke.
So this is a citizen.
Yeah.
She's a woman.
Jackson driving it
You were
in.
supposed to be objectively investigating. Does your text message to your colleagues and Massachusetts State Police reflect an objective investigation of a citizen?
Objection.
You can get part of that question and ask it again.
Do you believe that your text messages were reflective of an objective investigator?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Do you believe that, Trooper Proctor?
I believe poor jokes have, in unprofessional language, have no bearing on the integrity and the facts and physical evidence of this case.
It's not that they don't have any bearing on the facts and integrity. It's that they have
That's
no
the first
place
statement.
in a professional investigation because it shows bias, right?
Objection.
So I have to sustain that as asked. Go ahead and ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
You
Remember,
weren't
the
so
jury's
much as
hearing this.
objectively investigating Karen Reed as objectifying her, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Is
Shell,
that right?
thank you for the $9.99.
Rephrase the question, please.
You weren't so much as objectively investigating her.
This guy's body language is just oozing narcissism right now. This guy don't give a fuck. Because he walked out of that courtroom, got in his car, and went, fuck all these people. This is how this guy is. Disgusting person.
As objectifying her in those moments, correct?
Excuse me.
Again, Mr. Jackson, it was a poor choice of words and a joke that I should not have texted out. But from the start of the investigation, we didn't know what we had.
And your, Trooper Proctor, your point in saying no nudes so far to your colleagues in Massachusetts State Police was to suggest that you were looking for nudes and you'd update them when you found them, correct?
Incorrect.
Come
Well, let me
on,
ask you a
bro.
question.
Just own up to it.
Did you find any nudes of
Again.
Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photos, sir.
Did you find any nudes of
Ooh.
Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photos, sir.
You weren't successful in your quest.
I came across text messages from Miss Reed to another attorney on January 29th, so I had to stop looking through her phone.
So you got sidetracked before you could get to the naked pictures
Yeah.
of Miss Reed. Is that what you're saying?
Oh,
Sustained.
absolutely, mama. This is the worst kind of human right here. This is the worst kind of human. All right, you're right, Johnny. Just own it,
To be
bro.
clear, when you sent those text messages on that group chat, those text messages included, as we said, or as you said, not one, but two of your
This
supervisors.
guy violated Karen Reed. He's a violator. That's like predatorial act, like predatorial behavior. That's pretty gross. That's very predatorial. That someone would sneak through someone's phone and then text about wanting to find nude photo. That's a predator. That's a predatorial behavior. That's a trait of being a predator. That's pretty low. That's very predatorial behavior. To search something like that out. I would definitely want a psych exam on this guy.
Correct?
Correct.
Were you ever reprimanded for your conduct in sending that text message?
Objection.
So that's sustained. Do we need to go to sidebar based on what you told me earlier?
We do not.
Okay, so,
I'll ask it a different way.
okay.
Did either
That's about the IA investigation.
Trooper Fanning or Trooper Buchanan dress you down in a responsive text message in that text thread for doing something so abhorrent as looking for nudes or referring to nudes of a female suspect or subject of your investigation? Did that ever happen?
Not that I can recall.
Karen's body language very
As a matter of
closed
fact-
off right now with the arms crossed.
In reference to one of the text messages in the same string, your boss, Yuri Buchanan, actually responded to the photo of Mr. Yannetti, didn't he?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
He did,
Super
sir.
late. I mean, I'm super crazy. Sorry. I'm tired. Sorry. It is super
After you
late.
received the photo,
This is crazy.
that's when you said, I'm quote, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. Is that right?
Objection.
Unreal.
I'll allow this, but not too many more.
Sure. Is that correct? It's on the top of page
Yes, sir.
685.
That's correct.
And Yuri Buchanan liked that comment. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone.
Yeah. Real classy.
I see you laughed at an image here, sir. I can't tell if he
Yeah.
liked that comment, sir.
Sure.
May I approach?
Yes.
Liar.
I don't know if it's just because it's faded or, yeah, my copy's faded.
Top 2685. You can use my copy if that helps.
All right. Thank you.
What do you see on the top of that page?
That Sergeant Buchanan liked it.
Like what?
The going through his retarded client's phone, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'll take my copy.
There you go.
Wish I was in the courtroom to see the juror's face through all of this. Oh my God.
So your supervisors at Massachusetts State Police not only didn't ride
They
you for
participated in
making
it.
comments like this, encouraged it.
Objection.
They participated in it.
Sustained.
Yep, they sure did.
Trooper Proctor, this is your direct chain of command. Is that right? Yuri Buchanan?
Yes, sir.
Did you believe that your conduct was a misuse of your authority and power as you were going through her phone in August of 2022?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No, I had a warrant signed by a district clerk, Stoughton District Clerk, to go through Miss Reed's phone. I don't think it was an abuse of power. I had every right to go through that phone.
Did the warrant say anything about looking for nudes?
Yeah, nude
of my
photo.
client?
Objection.
Oh, it's so good
Did
at
it-
Jackson. Oh,
No,
Say anything
you
about
let
that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, next question.
So that would be an abuse of the power that was given to you by
Sure
the court,
is.
correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Trooper Proctor, you'd agree that the hallmark of any good investigation, as you've been taught and others in Massachusetts State Police have been taught, is that the investigation and the investigator have to be fair. They have to be impartial. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Meaning that the investigation has to be free of conflicts,
This is a
right?
mistrial. I mean, this
Yes,
is
sir.
bad.
The investigator
Should be
has to be
dismissed.
free of conflicts, right?
Yes,
The investigation has to be free of bias. Is that right?
correct.
You can't be biased against
Yeah,
the
this
person
isn't
that you're
bias.
investigating. That would compromise the entire thing, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Basically, you follow the evidence. You're supposed to follow the evidence wherever it takes you, right?
correct.
Good or bad, top to bottom, just follow the evidence and report it back. That's how an investigation is supposed to be run, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And these are things that you learn early on at Massachusetts State Police Academy and then in your detective training. Isn't that right?
Excellent. Going
It is.
home.
Literally, it's part of an oath that you took at the academy
Oof.
that you will, quote, faithfully and impartially
Oh.
discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent on you as a Massachusetts State Police trooper, right?
Yes, sir.
You swore that oath.
I did.
When you start an investigation,
Good for Jack.
everybody in that investigation should be treated exactly the same. Don't you believe that's
You want to
true?
make this guy
Correct.
feel this for the rest of
Everybody,
his
have you ever
life.
heard the phrase, everybody's a suspect until they're not? Right?
Objection.
Sustained.
It's especially important early in an investigation before all of the facts are known that the investigator is not compromised by bias, prejudice, right?
Correct.
Most important early in the investigation, because that's when the most things are up in the air. There's the cloud, the fog of not knowing exactly what the truth is, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
In other words, Trooper Proctor, you don't get to pick a suspect and then try to find evidence to support your choice, right?
Correct.
But in this case, it's exactly what you did, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
All right, Mr. Jackson, why don't we end for today?
This is
Okay.
as good a place as any. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, so folks, we're off tomorrow. Those same 3 cautions.
All right, real quick, we'll go outside of court. What happened on Tom's stream just after that, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Karen coming out of court.
Ms. Reed, do you want to say anything about the language you heard?
Real quick, Sarah says, "Thank you for all that you do to cover this case. I really stay up past my bedtime, but I will for you live. Thank you. I know it's late, and I'm gonna get to bed right after this. We'll just watch this on Tom's CPU stream, and then we'll end this tonight." Does anybody, Rogue, do you have the total for Karen? I think it's probably like around $82 or $83 for a kickback. He did exercise the demons. All right, let's play this.
Like a state police should say something about the language they heard.
Are you surprised Proctor still has his job?
I am.
I think you got to get good insight into his bias.
Compromise the investigation.
Is there anything that was missed?
Among others.
Everything in the text message show is bias. Do you expect him to write he thinks he's innocent and he's trying to frame her? Is that what you actually expect? Your question, it just dawned on me. Your question, you work for the same station
Yep.
that the Albert's lawyer works for. So
Yep.
right? Is that where these questions are coming from?
Yep. Exactly why. He hasn't even done questions, but I heard that your mind. What would you like to say to Trooper Proctor today?
Have anything to say to Trooper Proctor. He'll have to answer to someone someday.
Ooh,
Here is
Karen.
someplace else in that.
Oh, kill.
Karen, I love it.
Excuse me?
What did you say?
Karen, love it. Good comeback.
Karen, to hear them read in open court, I know you've heard them before, but can you just tell us what that felt like? I've done nothing wrong. He has.
Mhm.
I might want to ask him how he feels.
We're all very confused. We're very confused. Turning up the heat. Turning it up.
Start on the 18th.
But I'll just hang there for a sec.
All right. Let's see. A lot of people out there today. I'll be back out on Friday. I'm going to head down to the court on Friday. I'm going to stream Proctor on Wednesday, the morning, because I have to work at night. Thursday night. Thursday night. All right, so here's my schedule. Let me run down this really quick. There's no court tomorrow, from what I'm understanding. I'm going to stream in the morning, Proctor in the morning on Wednesday. I'll probably have to cut it short if it goes too long because I do have to go to work for noon. Thursday night, I'm having Maz Media and Jess on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to kind of review the week. Jess will do a weekly check-in. I think that's going to be a killer show. And then Friday, I'm going to go down to court and stand out in the morning. And probably, maybe I'll be down there all day. I don't think I'm going to live stream the whole thing because I want to get better video. That live stream sucks. And maybe at the end of the day, when people come out, I'll just switch over to my camera and then upload the footage. So we'll figure something out. Oh, awesome, Scott. It'd be good to see you over there. Let's see. Miss Vu, thank you. Says, new sub, great stream. Glad I found you. Till next time. Good night, everyone. All right, we're at 339. 339 total. That's going to be $84.75 back to Karen. I'm going to kick $85 to Karen in the way that I do it. So I'll go on Defense Link. I'll leave the 85 on there. I cut and screenshot the post. I'll put it up on the LTL Media Facebook page and then on my community tab on YouTube. And then you can also just go right to the defense link and you'll see LTL chat, LTL Media chat raiser, and the date will be 6/10/24, and we'll put $85 up there. So yeah, I'm gonna hang out, Scott. We can grab lunch or something like that. We'll hang out. But thank you all for being here. It was great to go through this testimony. I couldn't go through it today. I had to work, and it was great to review this and go through all this. If you're first time over here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, I will stream. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mazza. I'll see you on Thursday night. I think me, you, and Jess are going to have a lot to talk about. And I'm really curious to see what Jess's point of view, how she's feeling about this. And for the ladies in the chat, come over on Thursday night. I'm going to tell you, Jess is probably feeling the same way you all are, and you're going to want to hear her perspective. She can probably say the same thing that you're all saying right now. All right, everybody. I love all of you. Thank you for the support. We're going to kick back $85 tonight to Karen and free Karen Reed. I love all of you. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye. Take the change and